the last function of the INF Treaty took place in Longhorn, Texas, just outside of Marshall. And we put on a real good show for them. The last missile was destroyed. And then they had a celebration in their big facility at Marshall. We had the Fort Sill Band. We had all kind of activity, food, drink. We invited the whole town. So we had the Russians there, and I don't remember exactly how many Russians, but they could have 20, and I don't think they had 20. But this is something I did as working with the Russians. They knew me, whatever. On one of the inspections, near the end of the treaty where all of the weapons had to be completely destroyed, which was going to be in May of 91, May of 91. So I was on this mission. I said, look, I talked to my counterparts. I said, we need to deconflict our final elimination. Don't you do yours at the same time we do ours. Why don't we do them about 10 days or 2 weeks apart? And you can have all 20 come to our elimination, and we'll have a celebration. And we will do the same. We'll bring 20 people to the one in Soviet Union. Well, they agreed to that. Well, their part, we went to Kapustin Yar. This is outside of Stalingrad, in the middle of nowhere. It's terrible. So there wasn't much of a party there. But when they came to Longhorn, Texas, outside of Marshall, by Lake Caddo, Army Ammunition Plant, that's where the missiles were. We had this ceremony. We had Ambassador Lehman from D.C. We had our general, their whole team. And that evening, we went down to the city facility with a Fort Sill Band, barbecue, beer, wine, whatever, and had a celebration. In order for our people in Washington who didn't really get to go involved, I mean, I'm talking about the staff, the secretary, logistics people work passports. So I told the boss, I said, General, we got a C-141 going to Texas. Why don't we allow our people to go to celebrate? So he agreed. Some of the staff people said, oh, no. I said, the only thing we have to do is pay for their lodging and a meal. So he agreed. So we took secretaries, we took clerks, we took finance people, we took logistics people. I think we took like 50 because we had a whole C-141 airplane. And they got to participate in the celebration. So they'd been working all this time behind the scenes. So it was a great thing that they got to be involved in. We put the ladies two to a room, the guys two to a room, just in the hotel, right? And we kept the Russians in. So that was a good celebration. And of course, that's something they remember because, see, this is a year and a half before I had my retirement function in Moscow with them. So that's something else. They knew that, hey, that Colonel Forest puts on a pretty good show. Oh, I remember on the way on the one inspection in the Soviet Union, they didn't know I was going to do two successive. I actually do 3 inspections. They figured, okay, they told the colonel who was my escort, oh, Colonel Forrest, he's busy. You won't do but 1 inspection. Well, he had his briefcase and the suit he was wearing. So after the first night in this terrible place, when I gave him, I got another mission for you. His eyes got so big, he was thinking, oh my goodness. And we had to spend another night because he couldn't get a transportation there. And the next morning we got a bus, and we had a bus down to Brest. And they put us on this great big airplane. I guess it's the only thing they had. And we're going, my next inspection is in Lithuania. So we are airborne. He said, Colonel, we're going to a different country. He was already worried about, because the Soviet Union had already dissolved, and he was worried that they're not even going to let us inspect. I said, don't you worry. We're going to do an inspection. I mean, I'll leave it to his concern. He was really concerned that because the Russians basically had left, and the Lithuanians were there. I didn't see any Russians, but one had to sign the documents. So he was concerned that we couldn't get in or couldn't land or whatever. But I said, don't worry, we will do the inspection, and we did. And we spent the night there. It was I could see night and day difference how the flowers were in the homes. It was more bright and more cheery than Russia, the part of I just left. So then after that, I did one more inspection. So the poor colonel was with me for 4 days in the same suit and with the one briefcase and his suit he was wearing, because he thought, hey, 24 hours I'll be back in Moscow. That wasn't so.